Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today, we'll be discussing Home Alone Together by Shin Yuri. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe and get your Be a Library card for the Be a Library. And before we get started, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiling this manhwa, go ahead and click off now. No worries, I'll catch you next time. For those of you who decide to stick around, let's go over some content warnings. There may be references to suicide, cancer, death, violence, blood, self-harm, bullying, mental illness, and abuse, as these things do appear in the manhwa. But if that's all with you, let's go ahead and get started. Junwoo is a hikikomori, a young adult who's become a recluse. For the past 5 years, since graduating high school and after the death of his parents, he's holed himself up in his childhood home where he spends his days in idle existence. The only thing he has to look forward to is the occasional visit from his neighbor, Hanbit, a guy he's had a crush on since he was a kid. Otherwise, his days are filled with severe loneliness and the self-loathing he hasn't been able to shake. One day, Hanbit comes by, implying that he might be moving in with Junwoo. This lights a fire under Junwoo, and he immediately assumes this is his chance to win over Hanbit. However, when Hanbit comes over, he brings along a stranger, Woo Yeon. It turns out that Hanbit isn't planning to move in. On the contrary, he's moving away to be with his longtime girlfriend. However, in fear of Junwoo being left alone unsupervised, Hanbit has the great idea that Woo Yeon should move in with Junwoo. Neither Junwoo nor Woo Yeon seem jazzed about the idea, but both seem compelled to go along with it because of their affection for Hanbit. So begins the awkward orbiting the two have as they live together. Despite their disdain for each other's company, slowly but surely they grow to tolerate one another, and soon that tolerance evolves into something more, something neither of them expected it would be. But these two have a lot of old wounds that threaten the peace they've created with each other. Will they be able to move forward, or are they destined to drown amid their surging trauma? Now this one is going to hurt bad. If you're looking for fluffy romance, you are in the wrong place. This is a story of two very, very hurt and broken people who are toxic to themselves, each other, and everyone around them due to their trauma. Of the three leading players, Junwoo, Hanbit, and Woo Yeon might be the most reasonable, which isn't saying much. But again, all of these people have intense backgrounds with hefty amounts of trauma and little to no coping skills, so to expect any of them to act reasonably or logically is asking a lot, especially since none of them seek professional help to work through their issues, at least not until the end. I say all this to warn potential readers that if you expect logical and unemotional decision making, turn away now. I know I'm making it sound like this is a bad or challenging read, but it really isn't. This is actually one of my favorites, breaking into my top 10, if not my top 5 reads. I've read it 3 times before this particular review was written, and then a 4th time as I was writing it, and I foresee myself reading this many more times in the future. Junwoo, our main lead, is a complete asshole and takes out his insecurities on everyone around him. Still, I found that pretty endearing since he's stunted back to his childhood days when his parents died. Woo Yeon is super non-committal, but once you learn it's because he lost his lover to cancer, that too is endearing. My least favorite character, minus the asshole side characters, is Hanbit. He plays the savior role for both Junwoo and Woo Yeon, but that role really makes him insufferable as he helps enable many of Junwoo and Woo Yeon's poor behaviors. However, without Hanbit's terrible idea of healing Junwoo and Woo Yeon by having them live together, we wouldn't have this story. So thanks, I guess, Hanbit. On another note, this is probably one of my favorite art styles of all time. It isn't perfect every time, but there's something so unique about it that I'm attracted to. Its use of heavy lines and the sharp features of the characters are just great. Plus, the use of color is phenomenal. It's predominantly cool and monochromatic throughout the series, with pops of color and warmth during the happier moments. The use of color helps establish the emotions of the scenes, and it's so stark in contrast between those two moods and color palettes that it makes for a visual feast. There are moments when the two mix, creating a nice emotional gradient throughout. I could go on, but I think you get the picture. Art is good, and it makes me very happy. And I especially love the epilogue for this. There isn't a definitive ending for the couple. Since they're no longer bound together by their insecurities and trauma, their relationship is no longer reliant on Junwoo's dependence on Woo Yeon. Instead, Woo Yeon is doing the chasing now, which is an excellent role and power dynamic reversal. It's implied that they're happy together and will probably be together for a while, but the fact that Junwoo is in such a healthy place that he can imagine an independent life beyond Woo Yeon is a happy ending in itself. Some people might be bothered by the fact that Junwoo longs for more than the relationship he's in with Woo Yeon, but I think that really shows Junwoo's growth as a person, and similarly, Woo Yeon's growth since he's now willing to be vulnerable with someone again. They're not fully healed and probably never will be, but they can move forward despite that, and that's where the happy ending lies, whether they end up together or not, and I love that so much. With all that being said, this is a must read for me. It certainly isn't for everyone because of its dark themes and sometimes insufferable cast, but if you're okay with that, this story is a real treat. It will give you all the emotions and you'll be thanking it for them at the end. Of course, I'm a bit biased because I am someone who loves a good cry, but I still think this is a great one. I highly recommend it, and I'll be reading all of the manhwa currently available from this artist. So, have you read Home Alone together? If so, what do you think? Do you agree with my assessment? Do you not? Let me know in comment below. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!